Human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story.
Clips from an old TED Talk have recently resurfaced and gone viral. The speaker is Yuval Harari, a WEF acolyte. Though at times the WEF has tried to distance itself from Harari, it is painfully obvious that he is an active contributor to the group and its policies. A simple Google search easily proves this. For anyone unfamiliar, we will discuss what the WEF is and why it is something to be concerned about. But what about Harari's comments? I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt and watch the entire talk, in case the viral clips had been taken out of context. They have not. As we go through the highlights, consider how Harari's statements from 9 years ago show up today.
Humans can use their language, not only to describe reality, but also to create new realities, to create fiction. Look, there is a God above the clouds, and if you don't do what I tell you to do, God will punish you. And if you believe this fictional story, then you will do what you are told to do. As long as everybody believes in the same fictional stories, everybody obeys the same laws and the same rules and the same norms. Only humans can believe such fictions. And this is why humans control the world.
Personally, I think that anyone who confidently states that we are just meat sacks walking around until we die is not only lying to themselves, but also severely degrading their existence and limiting their credibility. To emphatically state that there is nothing greater out there is sheer hubris. For example, if you do not have enough awareness to realize you have armpit stains and keep your arms down, how can you possibly know with certainty that there is no God?
Today in the world, many, maybe most legal systems are based on this idea, this belief in human rights. But human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story that we've invented and spread around. It may be a very nice story, but it's just a story. It's not a reality. It is not a biological reality. Just as jellyfish and woodpeckers and ostriches have no rights, Homo sapiens have no rights also. The only place you find rights is in the fictional stories that humans have invented and spread around. States and nations are also like human rights and like God and like heaven. They too are just stories. Stories we might want to believe very much, but still they are just stories. You can't really see the United States. You cannot touch it. You cannot smell it. But the most successful story of all, probably, is the story of money. You can't eat it. You can't drink it. You can't wear it. It has no value. But then come along these master storytellers, the great bankers, the financial ministers, the prime ministers, the presidents, and they tell a very convincing story. And as long as everybody believes it, it works. It really works. And money is really the most successful story of all, because it's the only story everybody believes. Not everybody believes in God. Not everybody believes in human rights. Not everybody believes in the United States, but everybody believes in money.
Is this true? Or are they just trying to acclimate us to having our rights taken away? It's no coincidence that so many institutions of power have recently been testing various methods. Harari is trying to convince us rights are just a story, a fiction, no big deal. Others are testing us to see at what point fear overrides our desire for autonomy. Some offer us carrots to determine how much we value our privacy. Maybe we'll even give up our speech rights in exchange for never having to hear anything that might hurt our feelings. I would say even if you were to accept this paradigm, family is a more important story than money. But it's no surprise WEF representatives like Harari worship money as the most important.
The World Economic Forum is very open and as an open platform to integrate everybody who is willing to address those issues in a spirit, which means to exercise here true global citizenship.
The WEF is a private organization created and funded by wealthy individuals and companies. Membership is limited to those who can afford it. Members and representatives are not elected. a global organization trying to impose its worldviews and agendas on individual governments and, by extension, all of us. Members include super-huge megacorporations whose action, or lack thereof, can influence governments to do their bidding. Not the will of the people. Again, this is a private organization with unelected individuals and representatives with private interests. And these private interests are usurping our influence over the leaders we elected. And it's being done right out in the open.
The most powerful forces in the world are these fictional entities. The very survival of rivers and trees and lions and chimpanzees today depends on the wishes and decisions of fictional entities like the United States or like Google or like the World Bank, entities that in fact exist only in our common imagination. Thank you.
I think now is a great time to quote Alan Moore, the author of V for Vendetta. People shouldn't be afraid of their government. Governments should be afraid of their people. Let us not forget, when people of the world come together against tyranny, tyranny loses every time.